The most formidable barrier to your lasting success isn't your external circumstances, but the often unseen patterns of your current mindset. Yet, within this realization lies your greatest power, the capacity for a profound breakthrough. Many search for external keys to unlock a better life, more opportunities, different circumstances, new skills. Yet, the most profound transformations begin within, sparked by a breakthrough in how you think and what you believe is possible. This journey is about igniting that internal revolution. We will explore how to dismantle limiting beliefs, actively cultivate a mindset rooted in positivity and growth, and equip you with practical strategies to turn challenges into triumphs. You are about to discover that by changing your mind, you can truly change your life, opening doors to achievements and a depth of fulfillment you may have never thought attainable. The power for a remarkable breakthrough is already within you, waiting to be embraced. Mindset Breakthrough: Embrace Positivity for Lasting Success, written and published by Brainpower Blueprint. Chapter 1. The Power of Belief. Imagine two seeds, identical in every way, planted in fertile soil. One is consistently told, "You are strong, you will grow tall, you will flourish." The other is whispered, "You are weak, the conditions are too harsh, you probably won't make it." Which seed do you think would have a better chance of reaching its full potential, pushing through the earth and unfurling its leaves to the sun? This simple analogy mirrors a profound truth about human potential. Our beliefs, those deeply held convictions about ourselves, others, and the world, act as powerful internal narratives that significantly shape our reality, our actions, and ultimately our capacity for success and happiness. Many people navigate their lives largely unaware of the subtle yet pervasive influence of their core beliefs. They might attribute their successes or failures solely to external factors, luck, circumstances, or innate talent, without realizing that the invisible scripts running in their minds are constantly directing the show. The problem is that if these underlying beliefs are limiting or negative, "I'm not smart enough," "I don't deserve good things," "Change is too difficult," "Success is for other people," they act like invisible ceilings, restricting our aspirations, sabotaging our efforts, and preventing us from seizing opportunities that are well within our grasp. These self-limiting beliefs, often formed from past experiences or messages we internalized long ago, can keep us trapped in cycles of mediocrity or unfulfillment, blind to the true extent of our own power. The transformative solution lies in awakening to and harnessing the power of belief itself, understanding that beliefs are not immutable truths handed down by fate, but rather mental constructs that can be examined, challenged, and consciously chosen and cultivated to create a foundation for positivity and lasting success. This means becoming an active architect of your belief system, deliberately selecting and reinforcing beliefs that empower you, expand your sense of possibility, and align with your highest aspirations. The core idea is that what you truly believe deep down has a direct and measurable impact on your perception, your motivation, your behavior, and consequently the results you achieve. By cultivating empowering beliefs, you effectively change the lens through which you see the world, opening yourself up to new possibilities and energizing you to take consistent, positive action. The benefits are profound: increased confidence, greater resilience in the face of setbacks, a more optimistic outlook, enhanced problem-solving abilities, and a powerful sense of agency over your life's direction. It's like trading in a pair of smudged, distorting glasses for a crystal-clear lens that allows you to see your potential and the world's opportunities with newfound clarity and brilliance. The first crucial step in harnessing the power of belief is to identify your current core beliefs, both empowering and limiting. Core beliefs are the fundamental assumptions we hold about ourselves, other people, and the way the world works. They often operate at a subconscious level. To bring them to light, pay close attention to your recurring thoughts, your emotional reactions to situations, and the patterns in your behavior. What are the "I am" statements that frequently run through your mind? E.g., "I am capable," or "I am a failure." What do you believe about your ability to learn, to change, or to achieve your goals? What are your fundamental beliefs about success, money, relationships, or your own worthiness? It can be helpful to journal about these questions or to reflect on significant past experiences and the beliefs you formed as a result. For example, if you consistently avoid taking on new challenges at work, a limiting core belief might be, "I'm not competent enough to handle more responsibility." This identification process works because it makes the invisible visible. Once a belief is brought into conscious awareness, it can be examined and, if necessary, challenged. Once you have a clearer sense of your existing beliefs, the next step is to understand the origin and question the validity of your limiting beliefs. Many of our most deeply ingrained limiting beliefs were formed in childhood, based on early experiences, messages from caregivers, or societal conditioning. They might have served a protective purpose at one time, but are they still true or helpful for the adult you are today, or the person you want to become? For each limiting belief you identify, ask yourself, where did this belief come from? What experiences or messages led me to adopt it? Is this belief based on objective facts, or is it an interpretation or an opinion? What evidence exists against this belief? Can I find examples in my own life or in the lives of others that contradict it? For instance, if you believe, "I'm not a creative person," because a teacher once criticized your artwork, question whether that single opinion from years ago is a definitive statement about your innate creative capacity. This rigorous questioning works because it begins to loosen the grip of old, often irrational beliefs. It introduces doubt into what previously felt like an absolute truth, creating space for new, more empowering possibilities. A powerful understanding that fuels belief transformation is recognizing the profound impact of the placebo and nocebo effects. The placebo effect, well documented in medicine, demonstrates that a person's belief in a treatment can trigger real physiological changes, even if the treatment itself is inert. Conversely, the nocebo effect shows that negative beliefs or expectations can create negative outcomes. This isn't magic. It's a testament to the mind-body connection and the power of belief to influence our internal state and even our physical reality. When you truly believe something is possible for you, your brain and body begin to align with that possibility. Your motivation increases, you become more alert to opportunities, and you're more likely to take the actions that will bring that belief to fruition. For example, if you adopt the belief, "I am capable of learning new skills quickly," you are more likely to approach learning with enthusiasm, persist through difficulties, and therefore actually learn more effectively. This understanding is empowering because it highlights that your beliefs are not just passive thoughts. They are active agents shaping your experience. The practical application of this understanding is to consciously choose and cultivate beliefs that align with your desired outcomes and foster positivity. If your current beliefs are not serving you, you have the power to choose new ones. This isn't about denying reality or adopting delusional thinking. It's about selecting beliefs that are both empowering and realistically attainable with effort and the right strategies. Once you've identified a new, empowering belief you wish to adopt, e.g., "I am resilient and can overcome any setback," or "I am worthy of success and happiness," you need to actively cultivate it. This involves regularly repeating this belief to yourself, affirmations, visualizing yourself living as if this belief were already true, and most importantly, seeking out and engaging in actions that provide evidence for this new belief. For instance, if you want to believe "I am a confident networker," you might start by attending small networking events and focusing on making one or two meaningful connections, then acknowledging that success as proof of your growing confidence. This works because the brain learns through repetition and experience. By consistently feeding your mind with the new belief and backing it up with congruent actions, you gradually overwrite the old limiting neural pathways. Consider two individuals, Maya and Tom, both faced with the challenge of learning a complex new software for their jobs. Maya's underlying belief was, "I'm not very good with technology. I always struggle with new software." This belief led to feelings of anxiety, procrastination in starting the training, and a tendency to get easily frustrated and give up when she encountered difficulties. Tom, on the other hand, consciously cultivated the belief, "I am a capable learner," and with persistent effort, I can master any new tool that will help me succeed. This belief fueled his motivation. He approached the training with curiosity, broke it down into manageable steps, and when he hit a snag, he saw it as a problem to be solved rather than proof of his inadequacy. Consequently, Tom mastered the software much more quickly and effectively than Maya, not because of a difference in innate ability, but because of the profound difference in their core beliefs. The power of belief is the invisible force that shapes your perception, guides your actions, and ultimately creates your results. By becoming a conscious architect of your belief system, you unlock one of the most fundamental keys to achieving a mindset breakthrough, embracing positivity, and paving the way for lasting success in all areas of your life. But beliefs are often expressed through and reinforced by our habitual ways of thinking. How, then, do we go about changing the very patterns of our daily thoughts? Now that you understand the foundational power your beliefs hold over your reality, are you ready to delve into the practical mechanics of how to actively reshape your day-to-day thought patterns, transforming them from potential saboteurs into powerful allies for positivity and success? The next chapter will equip you with proven strategies for rewiring your habitual thinking. Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 2: Rewiring Thought Patterns. Imagine your mind as a garden. Over years, various seeds, thoughts, have been planted, some consciously, many unconsciously. Some have blossomed into beautiful, life-affirming flowers, while others have grown into persistent, thorny weeds of negativity, self-doubt, or worry. These weeds are your habitual negative thought patterns, those recurring mental scripts that can overshadow your positive intentions and significantly hinder your journey towards lasting success and well-being. You might have begun to understand the power of your core beliefs, as discussed in the previous chapter, but these beliefs often manifest and are reinforced through the daily chatter of your mind. The problem many people face is that these negative thought patterns, such as automatic negative thoughts, ants, excessive rumination on past mistakes, catastrophic thinking about the future, or a tendency to filter out the positive and focus on the negative, can become so ingrained that they feel like an inseparable part of who they are. This constant internal negativity drains energy, erodes confidence, biases perception, and can lead to unhelpful behaviors like procrastination or avoidance, effectively sabotaging your efforts to embrace positivity and achieve your goals. Simply trying to think positive without a strategy to address these deeply rooted patterns is often like trying to shout over a loud, persistent heckler. The transformative solution is to engage in a systematic process of cognitive restructuring for positivity, which involves learning to consciously identify, challenge, and replace your habitual negative or unhelpful thought patterns with more realistic, constructive, and empowering alternatives. This is not about suppressing negative thoughts or pretending that challenges don't exist. Rather, it's about developing the mental skills to observe your thinking objectively, question its validity when it's unhelpful, and intentionally cultivate thought habits that support your well-being and goals. The core idea is that your thought patterns, like any habit, are learned and can therefore be unlearned and rewired through consistent, deliberate practice. By actively reshaping these patterns, you change your internal dialogue from that of a critic or a worrier to that of a supportive coach and a rational optimist. The benefits are profound: reduced anxiety and stress, increased self-esteem, improved problem-solving abilities, a more balanced and positive emotional state, and a greater capacity to maintain a constructive outlook even in the face of adversity. It's like becoming a skilled gardener who learns to identify and remove the weeds, then diligently cultivates the soil to nurture the growth of beautiful, life-enhancing flowers. The first essential step in rewiring thought patterns is to develop acute thought awareness, learning to catch your negative thoughts in action. You cannot change a thought pattern if you're not aware of it when it's happening. Many negative thoughts are fleeting and automatic, so this requires practice. Start by paying closer attention to your internal monologue, especially during moments of stress, disappointment, or when you're facing a challenge. What specific thoughts go through your mind? Are there recurring themes or phrases? You might notice common ants, like "I'll never be able to do this," "This always happens to me," or "I'm such an idiot." When you catch such a thought, simply acknowledge its presence without judgment. You could even mentally label it, there's a catastrophizing thought. Or "that's my inner critic talking." Keeping a thought record for a week can be very helpful. Jot down the situation, the automatic negative thought, and the emotion it triggered. This practice works because it brings your habitual, often unconscious negative thinking into conscious focus, which is the necessary precursor to challenging and changing it. Once you become adept at catching your negative thoughts, the next crucial action is to challenge and question their validity and usefulness. Don't automatically accept every negative thought as truth. Instead, put it on trial. Ask yourself critical questions. What is the actual evidence for this thought? What is the evidence against it? Am I jumping to conclusions? Am I engaging in black and white thinking or overgeneralizing from a single event? Is this thought helpful, or is it just making me feel worse and less capable? What would I tell a friend who was having this thought? For example, if you have the thought, "I completely failed that presentation," you might challenge it by considering, was it truly a complete failure, or did some parts go okay? What specific feedback did I receive? What can I learn from the parts that didn't go well? Often you'll find that your negative thoughts are exaggerated, based on assumptions rather than facts, or are unhelpful distortions of reality. This critical examination works because it undermines the credibility of your negative thoughts, loosening their grip on your mind and emotions. It introduces objectivity and reason where there was previously only automatic negativity. After challenging a negative thought and recognizing its flaws, the third step is to actively reframe and replace it with a more balanced, realistic, and empowering alternative thought. This isn't about jumping to an overly simplistic positive platitude, but about finding a more constructive and truthful perspective. Based on your evidence-based challenging, what is a more accurate and helpful way to think about the situation? If the original thought was, "I'll never be able to learn this new skill," a more balanced replacement might be, "Learning this new skill will take time and effort, and I may face challenges, but I am capable of learning new things if I persist and use effective strategies." If the thought was, "This situation is a disaster," a reframe might be, "This is a difficult situation, but I can focus on what I can control and look for solutions or ways to manage it." Write down these alternative thoughts. Practice saying them to yourself when the old negative thought arises. This process of reframing works because it actively builds new, more positive neural pathways. With consistent practice, these more constructive thoughts can become your new automatic response, gradually replacing the old negative patterns. A powerful complementary practice for rewiring towards positivity is cultivating a daily gratitude habit. Regularly focusing on what you are grateful for, no matter how small, can significantly shift your overall thought patterns from a focus on lack and problems to an appreciation for the good that already exists in your life. This isn't about ignoring difficulties, but about balancing your perspective. Each day, try to identify 3 specific things you are grateful for and why. You can write them in a gratitude journal, share them with a loved one, or simply reflect on them. For example, "I am grateful for the supportive phone call from my friend today because it made me feel connected." Or, "I am grateful for the opportunity to work on this challenging project because it's helping me grow." This practice is effective because it trains your brain to scan for positives, counteracting the negativity bias, our natural tendency to pay more attention to negative experiences. Over time, this can lead to a more optimistic default outlook and increased feelings of well-being. Consider Amelia, who had a habitual thought pattern of catastrophizing whenever she faced a minor setback at work. If a client postponed a meeting, her mind would immediately jump to, "They're going to cancel the project and I'll lose my job." She started by becoming aware of this pattern. Then she challenged the thought, "What evidence do I have that they'll cancel? Has this happened before? Are there other possible, less dire reasons for the postponement?" She then reframed it. Client schedules can change for many reasons. I'll follow up politely to reschedule and focus on preparing well for when the meeting does happen. One postponement doesn't mean disaster. She also started a daily gratitude practice, noting small work wins or supportive colleagues. Gradually, her tendency to catastrophize lessened, and she approached work challenges with a calmer, more solution-oriented mindset. Her internal dialogue shifted, leading to reduced stress and improved performance. Rewiring your thought patterns is an active, ongoing process of mental gardening. It requires diligence, patience, and self-compassion. But with consistent effort, you can transform your internal landscape, replacing the thorny weeds of negativity with the vibrant blossoms of positivity, creating a mental environment where lasting success can truly take root and flourish. But if our fundamental belief about our ability to grow is itself limited, even the best thought rewiring techniques may falter. How then do we make that crucial shift from a mindset that sees abilities as fixed to one that truly embraces growth? Now that you're equipped with tools to challenge and reframe negative thought patterns, are you ready to tackle one of the most fundamental shifts necessary for a true mindset breakthrough? The journey from a limiting fixed mindset to an empowering growth mindset. The next chapter will illuminate this pivotal transformation. Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 3. From Fixed to Growth. Imagine two artists given a challenging new medium to work with. One artist, upon encountering initial difficulties, quickly becomes frustrated, muttering, "I'm just not skilled with this. Some people have the talent, and I clearly don't." They soon abandon the effort. The second artist, facing the same initial struggles, thinks, "This is tricky, but it's a fascinating challenge. What can I learn here? How can I improve my technique with practice?" This artist persists, experiments, and gradually begins to master the new medium. The difference between these two artists lies not necessarily in their innate talent, but profoundly in their underlying mindset regarding their abilities. You've begun to explore the power of your beliefs and the mechanics of rewiring thought patterns. However, if your core belief about intelligence, talent, and ability is that these qualities are largely static and unchangeable, a fixed mindset, your efforts to embrace positivity and achieve lasting success will constantly battle an invisible headwind. The problem is that a fixed mindset makes you fear challenges, as they might expose your perceived limitations, view effort as a sign of inadequacy, believing that true talent shouldn't require hard work, give up easily in the face of setbacks, seeing them as proof of your limits, feel threatened by the success of others, and ignore or become defensive in response to useful negative feedback. This fundamentally limits your potential for learning, development, and ultimately achieving a mindset breakthrough. The transformative solution is to consciously and actively cultivate a growth mindset activation, which involves deeply internalizing and consistently applying the understanding that your most basic abilities, including your intelligence and talents, can be developed and significantly expanded through dedication, persistent effort, effective strategies, and learning from experience. This concept, extensively researched by psychologist Carol Dweck, is the cornerstone of personal and professional development. The core idea is that your brain is like a muscle. The more you use it in challenging ways, the stronger and more capable it becomes. By shifting from a fixed to a growth mindset, you unlock your innate capacity for continuous learning and improvement, transforming your entire approach to challenges, effort, and setbacks. The benefits are truly profound: an increased passion for learning, a greater willingness to embrace challenges, enhanced resilience in the face of obstacles, a more positive attitude towards effort, the ability to learn effectively from criticism, and finding lessons and inspiration in the success of others. This shift is fundamental to creating lasting success because it makes you an unstoppable learner, constantly adapting and growing. It's like the second artist who understands that mastery is not a gift, but a journey of persistent, intelligent effort. The first crucial step in making the shift from a fixed to a growth mindset is to develop awareness of your own fixed mindset triggers and self-talk. Everyone has a mixture of both mindsets, but certain situations or thoughts can trigger a more fixed response. Pay attention to when you feel most defensive, most threatened by a challenge, or most likely to give up. What are the situations? Perhaps it's when you're trying something new and don't succeed immediately, when you receive critical feedback, or when you see someone else excelling at something you find difficult. What kind of self-talk emerges in these moments? Do you hear an inner voice saying, "I'm not smart enough for this, I'll never get this right, it's not worth the effort if it's this hard," or "they're just naturally better than me"? Recognizing these specific fixed mindset triggers and the accompanying internal dialogue is the first step toward changing them. This awareness works because it allows you to catch yourself in a fixed mindset mode and consciously choose a different response. Once you recognize your fixed mindset patterns, the next vital action is to consciously choose growth-oriented responses and reframe your internal dialogue. When a fixed mindset thought arises, don't just let it run the show. Actively challenge it and replace it with a growth-oriented alternative. If the thought is, "This is too hard, I can't do it," reframe it to, "This is challenging, which means I'm learning something new. What strategy can I try next?" Or, "I can't do it yet, but I can improve with effort." If you receive criticism, instead of feeling defensive, "They don't understand," try thinking, "This feedback, even if difficult to hear, contains valuable information I can use to grow." If you see someone else succeed, instead of feeling envious, "I wish I were that talented," try thinking, "That's inspiring. What can I learn from their approach and their journey?" This active reframing works because it begins to build new neural pathways that support a growth perspective. With consistent practice, these growth-oriented thoughts become more automatic. A powerful principle for fostering a growth mindset is to reevaluate your understanding and appreciation of effort. A fixed mindset often views effort negatively as a sign that you lack talent. If you were truly smart or gifted, you wouldn't need to try so hard. A growth mindset, however, sees effort as the primary mechanism for activating and developing intelligence and talent. Embrace effort as the path to mastery. When you are working hard on something, tell yourself, "This effort is making me stronger and smarter. This is the process of learning and building my abilities." Celebrate persistence and hard work, not just natural talent. For instance, instead of praising a child only for getting an easy A, implying fixed talent, praise them for their perseverance on a challenging problem set, emphasizing effort and growth. This shift in perspective works because it transforms effort from something to be avoided into something to be valued and embraced, making you more willing to put in the hard work necessary for significant achievement. Embracing challenges as opportunities for growth, rather than threats to your ego, is another cornerstone of the growth mindset. People with a fixed mindset tend to shy away from challenges because they fear failure might expose their inadequacies. Those with a growth mindset, however, understand that true growth happens when you step outside your comfort zone and tackle tasks that stretch your abilities. Actively seek out and embrace challenges that align with your goals. When faced with a difficult task, instead of feeling anxious about potential failure, try to feel excited about the opportunity to learn and develop new skills. Remind yourself that the struggle itself is a sign that you are building new capacities. For example, choosing to take on a difficult project at work, even if it feels intimidating, can be a powerful growth experience. This works because challenges provide the necessary stimulus for your brain to adapt and grow stronger, much like lifting weights builds muscle. Finally, cultivate the habit of learning from both your setbacks and the successes of others. A fixed mindset often leads to either giving up after a setback or feeling envious of others' achievements. A growth mindset sees setbacks as valuable learning opportunities, as we will explore more deeply in the next chapter, and views others' successes as sources of inspiration and valuable lessons. When you experience a setback, analyze it for what you can learn. When you see someone achieve something you aspire to, study their journey. What strategies did they use? What obstacles did they overcome? What can you adapt from their experience to your own path? This outward-looking learning approach works because it expands your repertoire of strategies and reinforces the belief that success is achievable through effort and learning, not just innate talent. Consider two entrepreneurs, Ben and Lisa, launching similar online businesses. Ben has a predominantly fixed mindset. When his initial marketing efforts don't yield immediate results, he thinks, maybe I'm just not cut out for marketing. This online business thing is harder than I thought. Perhaps it's not for me. He quickly becomes discouraged and considers giving up. Lisa, who has actively cultivated a growth mindset, faces similar initial slow results. Her thought is, okay, this initial approach isn't working as well as I hoped. This is a great opportunity to learn what resonates with my target audience. What data can I gather? What different marketing strategies can I experiment with? She sees the effort of testing and iterating as essential to building a successful business. She studies other successful online entrepreneurs, not with envy, but with curiosity about their methods. Lisa's growth mindset makes her resilient and adaptable, far more likely to achieve lasting success. The journey from a fixed to a growth mindset is one of the most profound breakthroughs you can experience. It's a continuous process of awareness, conscious choice, and consistent practice. By embracing this shift, you unlock your limitless potential to learn, adapt, and achieve things you may have once thought impossible, creating a solid foundation for enduring positivity and success. But what about those inevitable moments of failure? How does a growth mindset truly transform our relationship with them? Now that you've begun to internalize the empowering principles of a growth mindset, are you ready to confront one of its most critical applications? How to fundamentally change your relationship with failure, transforming it from a source of fear and shame into your most powerful catalyst for learning and ultimate success. The next chapter will guide you to embrace failure fully. Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 4. Embracing Failure Fully. Imagine a scientist in a laboratory, tirelessly working on a groundbreaking discovery. For every successful experiment, there are likely dozens, perhaps hundreds of failed attempts, each one a dead end, a hypothesis disproven. If this scientist viewed each failure as a personal defeat, a sign of their inadequacy, or a reason to abandon their quest, very few scientific breakthroughs would ever occur. Yet in our own lives, how often do we treat failure with such dread and finality? You've started to cultivate a growth mindset, understanding that abilities can be developed. But one of the most significant tests of this new mindset, and a crucial component of any true mindset breakthrough, is how you perceive and respond to failure. The problem for many is that failure is deeply intertwined with feelings of shame, inadequacy, and disappointment. We may fear it, try to avoid it at all costs, often by not taking risks or aiming too low, or when it inevitably occurs, we might see it as a definitive judgment on our worth or capabilities. This fear and negative interpretation of failure can paralyze us, stifle creativity and innovation, prevent us from learning crucial lessons, and ultimately act as a massive barrier to achieving lasting success and embracing positivity. If failure is seen as an endpoint rather than a data point, our growth journey grinds to a halt. The transformative solution is to cultivate failure receptivity, a profound shift in perspective that allows you to embrace failure fully, not as a devastating blow, but as an indispensable teacher, a rich source of feedback, and an integral, even welcome part of any meaningful journey towards success. This means learning to decouple your self-worth from your outcomes, to approach setbacks with curiosity rather than condemnation, and to systematically extract the valuable lessons embedded within each apparent misstep. The core idea is that failure, when viewed through the lens of a growth mindset, is not the opposite of success, but a vital stepping stone towards it. By embracing failure fully, you develop resilience, accelerate your learning, and become far more willing to take the calculated risks necessary for significant achievement. The benefits are a dramatic reduction in the fear of failure, an increased ability to bounce back from adversity, a more innovative and experimental approach to challenges, and the wisdom that comes from learning what doesn't work, which is often just as important as learning what does. It's like the scientist who sees each failed experiment not as a waste, but as a valuable piece of information that narrows down the search for truth and brings them one step closer to their breakthrough. The first essential step in embracing failure fully is to normalize failure as an inevitable and natural part of the growth process. Understand intellectually and emotionally that anyone who is striving for anything worthwhile will experience setbacks and failures. From learning to walk as a child, which involves countless falls, to mastering a complex skill, to building a successful career or business, failure is part of the curriculum. Remind yourself of stories of highly successful individuals. Almost invariably, their paths were littered with failures they overcame and learned from. When you experience a failure, instead of thinking, "What's wrong with me?" try to think, "This is normal. This is part of the process of stretching myself and trying new things." This normalization works because it reduces the shame and self-blame often associated with failure. It helps you see it not as a personal defect, but as an objective event that happens to everyone who is engaged in challenging pursuits. Once you can see failure as normal, the next crucial action is to develop the skill of extracting valuable lessons from every failure. After the initial emotion of a setback subsides, and it's okay to feel disappointed or frustrated for a short while, shift into an analytical, learning-oriented mode. Conduct a failure autopsy or an after-action review. Ask yourself, what exactly happened? What was my goal? What actions did I take? What were the unexpected outcomes? What were the contributing factors, both internal and external? What can I learn from this experience? What will I do differently next time based on these lessons? Be honest but not self-flagellating. The goal is to gain insights that will improve your future efforts. For example, if a project at work didn't succeed, a constructive analysis might reveal a need for better planning, clearer communication, or different resources. This proactive lesson extraction works because it transforms failure from a dead end into a rich source of practical wisdom, ensuring that you don't repeat the same mistakes and that every setback contributes to your growth. A powerful mindset shift is to separate your self-worth from your outcomes and performance. One of the main reasons failure stings so much is that we often equate our performance in a specific instance with our overall value as a person. If we fail at a task, we conclude, "I am a failure." It's vital to consciously uncouple these. Remind yourself that your inherent worth as a human being is constant and unconditional. A setback in a particular endeavor does not diminish your value. You can fail at something without being a failure. This distinction is crucial. You might say to yourself, "Okay, that attempt didn't work out, outcome, but I am still a capable and worthy person who is learning and growing self-worth." This separation works because it protects your core sense of self from the inevitable ups and downs of performance, allowing you to approach challenges and potential failures with less fear and more resilience. It gives you the emotional stability to learn from failure without being crushed by it. Furthermore, cultivate the courage to celebrate intelligent failures, those that result from taking thoughtful risks and yield valuable learning. Not all failures are created equal. Failing due to negligence or lack of effort is different from failing because you stretched yourself, tried an innovative but unproven approach, or took a well-considered risk in pursuit of a significant goal. These intelligent failures are often the most potent sources of learning and breakthroughs. Encourage an environment, both for yourself and if you're a leader for your team, where such failures are seen not as shameful, but as essential for progress and innovation. When such a failure occurs, acknowledge the courage it took to try, and then focus intensely on extracting the maximum learning from it. For instance, an entrepreneur who launches an innovative product that doesn't find market traction has experienced an intelligent failure if they rigorously analyze why it didn't work and apply those lessons to their next venture. This mindset works because it encourages experimentation, risk-taking, and pushing boundaries, which are essential for achieving breakthroughs and staying ahead in a competitive world. Consider Thomas Edison, who famously made thousands of unsuccessful attempts before inventing a commercially viable light bulb. When asked about his many failures, he reportedly said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This is the epitome of embracing failure fully, seeing each unsuccessful attempt not as a personal defeat, but as a necessary step in the process of discovery and invention. Or think of a startup culture that encourages failing fast, quickly testing ideas, learning from the market response, even if it's negative, and iterating rapidly. This approach accelerates learning and ultimately increases the chances of success by embracing smaller, manageable failures along the way. Embracing failure fully is a cornerstone of a robust growth mindset and a key ingredient for lasting success and positivity. It transforms your relationship with adversity, turning potential roadblocks into critical learning opportunities and sources of resilience. It liberates you from the fear that holds so many people back, allowing you to pursue ambitious goals with greater courage and persistence. But how do you cultivate the internal dialogue that supports this resilient, growth-oriented, and failure-embracing perspective? Now that you've begun to transform your relationship with failure, seeing it as a crucial teacher rather than a dreaded foe, how do you cultivate an internal voice that consistently reinforces this positive, growth-oriented mindset, especially when faced with daily challenges and self-doubt? The next chapter will guide you in building positive and powerful self-talk. Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 5. Building Positive Self-Talk. Imagine you have a constant companion, someone who whispers in your ear throughout your day, commenting on your actions, your abilities, and your experiences. What if this companion is relentlessly critical, pointing out every flaw, magnifying every mistake, and predicting failure at every turn? Now imagine a different companion, one who is encouraging, supportive, believes in your potential, and offers constructive advice even when you stumble. The voice of this companion is your self-talk, that internal dialogue that runs continuously within your mind. You've embarked on a journey to understand your beliefs, rewire negative thought patterns, shift towards a growth mindset, and even embrace failure. Yet, if your habitual self-talk remains predominantly negative and critical, it acts like an internal saboteur, constantly undermining your efforts to cultivate positivity and achieve lasting success. The problem many people face is a deeply ingrained habit of harsh self-criticism, pessimistic forecasting, or belittling internal commentary. This negative self-talk erodes confidence, amplifies anxiety, diminishes motivation, and can make even small challenges feel insurmountable. It's like trying to build a magnificent tower while an internal demolition crew is simultaneously working to tear it down brick by brick. Without consciously transforming this inner dialogue, your mindset breakthrough will remain incomplete and vulnerable, making it incredibly difficult to sustain the positivity needed for lasting personal and professional achievement. The constant barrage of internal negativity can feel exhausting and can prevent you from truly internalizing the positive changes you're working so hard to make in other areas of your mindset. The transformative solution is to engage in inner dialogue transformation, a deliberate and consistent practice of identifying, challenging, and reshaping your negative self-talk into a constructive, supportive, and empowering internal narrative that champions your growth and well-being. This means becoming the conscious author and editor of your own internal script, replacing the voice of the inner critic with the voice of an inner mentor or compassionate coach. The core idea is that your self-talk is a learned habit, shaped by past experiences, societal messages, and your own interpretations. And like any habit, it can be consciously changed with awareness and intentional effort. By cultivating positive self-talk, you create an internal environment that nurtures your confidence, reinforces your growth mindset, enhances your resilience, and actively supports your pursuit of positivity and lasting success. The benefits are a significant boost in self-esteem, reduced stress and self-doubt, increased motivation to pursue challenging goals, a greater ability to cope with setbacks constructively, and a more optimistic and joyful outlook on life. This internal shift doesn't mean ignoring reality or difficulties. It means approaching them with an inner voice that believes in your capacity to learn, adapt, and overcome. It's like replacing that critical companion with a wise and unwavering ally who believes in you unconditionally and helps you navigate life's journey with greater courage, clarity, and grace, forming a crucial pillar of your mindset breakthrough. The first essential step in building positive self-talk is to become acutely aware of your current inner dialogue and identify negative patterns. You cannot change what you don't first recognize. Begin by paying close, non-judgmental attention to the automatic thoughts and internal statements that arise, especially when you're facing challenges, feeling stressed, or have made a mistake. What is the typical tone of this inner voice? Is it critical, belittling, anxious, or defeatist? Are there recurring negative phrases or labels you apply to yourself, such as "I'm not good enough," "I always mess things up," or "this is impossible for me"? It can be helpful to keep a brief log for a few days, noting down specific instances of negative self-talk, the situation that triggered it, and the emotions it evoked. For example, if you receive constructive criticism at work, does your mind immediately jump to "I'm a failure" or "my boss thinks I'm incompetent"? Becoming an observer of these thoughts without getting swept away by them is key. This awareness works because it creates a crucial space between the thought and your identification with it. You begin to see these negative statements as mental habits rather than objective truths, which is the first and most important step toward disempowering them and initiating change. Once you are adept at recognizing your negative self-talk as it occurs, the next vital action is to challenge and dispute the inner critic with logic, evidence, and compassion. Your inner critic often relies on cognitive distortions, like overgeneralization, black and white thinking, catastrophizing, or emotional reasoning, to make its case. Don't let these pronouncements go unchecked. When that critical voice emerges, treat it like a biased witness whose claims need rigorous cross-examination. Ask yourself, is this thought truly accurate and fair? What objective evidence supports it? What evidence contradicts it? Am I considering all aspects of the situation, or just focusing on the negative? Is this thought helpful in any way, or is it simply making me feel worse and less capable of finding a solution? If a dear friend were saying this about themselves, what would I tell them? For instance, if your inner critic screams, "You completely ruined that presentation," you might challenge it by asking, was every single aspect a disaster, or were there parts that went reasonably well? What specific feedback, if any, supports this extreme conclusion? What did I learn that could make the next one better? This process of disputation works because it introduces logic and perspective, deflating the exaggerated claims of the inner critic and reducing its emotional impact. You are essentially fact-checking your own internal negativity. After challenging the negative statement and understanding its flaws, the third step is to consciously craft and consistently practice constructive, compassionate, and empowering self-statements as replacements. This is where you actively rewrite your internal script. For each common negative self-talk pattern you've identified and disputed, develop a more positive, realistic, and supportive alternative. This isn't about forced Pollyanna-ish positivity, but about cultivating an inner voice that is genuinely encouraging, understanding, and growth-oriented. If your old, automatic self-talk after making a mistake was, "I'm so incredibly stupid, I can never do anything right," a new, consciously chosen statement might be, "Okay, that wasn't the outcome I intended, and I feel disappointed. However, making mistakes is a normal part of learning. What specific lesson can I take from this to improve next time? I am capable of learning and growing from this experience." If you're facing a daunting task and the old thought is, "There's no way I can do this, it's too overwhelming," the new self-talk could be, "This task looks big, but I can break it down into smaller, manageable steps. I will focus on one step at a time, and I have the resourcefulness to figure things out or ask for help if needed." It's crucial to practice saying these new statements to yourself regularly, especially when the old critical voice tries to resurface. This consistent practice works because, through repetition, you are actively building and strengthening new, more positive neural pathways in your brain, gradually making this supportive inner voice your new, more automatic way of thinking. A powerful tool for proactively building positive self-talk is the intentional use of personalized affirmations that resonate authentically and align with your growth mindset. Affirmations are positive, present tense statements that declare a desired quality, belief, or state of being as if it is already developing or true for you. For affirmations to be truly effective in shifting your self-talk and underlying beliefs, they must feel reasonably believable and genuinely meaningful to you, not like empty words. Generic affirmations often lack personal impact. Instead, craft affirmations that are specific to the positive changes you are making, the growth mindset you are cultivating, and the empowered identity you are building. For example, if you are working on overcoming a fear of public speaking, an affirmation might be, "I am becoming a more confident and articulate speaker with each opportunity I embrace," or "I communicate my ideas clearly and effectively." Repeat your personalized affirmations daily, perhaps in the morning to set a positive tone, or before specific situations where you know your negative self-talk tends to flare up. It can be powerful to say them while looking in a mirror, or to write them down. Combine them with a feeling of conviction and visualize yourself embodying these positive qualities. This practice is effective because it consistently directs your focus and your subconscious mind towards your desired state, reinforcing positive self-perceptions and gradually overriding the old, negative internal scripts. Finally, make it a habit to actively practice self-encouragement and acknowledge your efforts and progress, regardless of outcome. Become your own most reliable source of encouragement. Before you undertake a challenging task or enter a situation that might trigger self-doubt, give yourself a mental pep talk. "I've prepared for this as best I can. I have the strengths and skills to handle this. I will focus on giving my best effort." During the process, if you encounter difficulties or feel your motivation waning, offer yourself words of encouragement. Keep going. You're doing well to persist through this. Every bit of effort is a step forward. And importantly, after you've completed something, especially if it was challenging, take a moment to acknowledge your effort and any progress made, even if the outcome wasn't perfect. "I really pushed myself there and I'm proud of my perseverance. I learned specific lesson." This continuous stream of self-encouragement works because it fosters a positive internal environment that boosts motivation, builds resilience, and reinforces your self-belief, making you more likely to sustain effort and maintain a positive outlook even when things are tough. It shifts the focus from solely outcome-based validation to process and effort-based validation. Consider Lena, who for years battled an intensely critical inner voice that constantly told her she wasn't creative enough to pursue her dream of writing a novel. She began by meticulously noting these thoughts. "My ideas are silly. No one will want to read this." She challenged them. "Is it objectively true that all my ideas are silly? Haven't friends sometimes found my stories interesting? Isn't creativity something that can be developed?" She then crafted new self-statements. "I have unique perspectives to share, and I am developing my craft as a writer with each page I write. My voice deserves to be heard." She affirmed daily, "I am a creative and disciplined writer." Before each writing session, she would encourage herself, "Just focus on telling the story today. The words will come." When she struggled with a plot point, she'd say, "This is a puzzle, and I enjoy solving puzzles. I'll figure it out." This dedicated transformation of her inner dialogue gradually silenced her debilitating inner critic and unleashed her creativity, allowing her to make consistent progress on her novel with newfound joy and confidence. Building positive self-talk is an ongoing practice, a fundamental skill for anyone committed to a mindset breakthrough. It is the art of becoming your own best advocate, your most compassionate friend, and your most inspiring coach, creating an internal sanctuary of support that fuels your journey towards lasting positivity and success. But this powerful inner work gains its fullest expression when translated into outward behavior. How do our actions then serve to solidify this new positive mindset and the very identity we are striving to embody? Now that you are actively cultivating a more supportive and empowering inner dialogue, how do you ensure that your daily actions not only reflect but also powerfully reinforce this positive mindset, thereby forging an unshakable new identity grounded in your breakthrough? The next chapter will explore the dynamic interplay between your actions and the shaping of who you become. Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, Give this video a like and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 6. Actions that Shape Identity. Imagine a master sculptor standing before a rough block of stone. Their vision for the final masterpiece exists first in their mind, but it is only through the persistent, deliberate act of chipping away, shaping, and polishing through countless physical actions that the envisioned form emerges and takes on a tangible, undeniable reality. Similarly, your journey towards a mindset breakthrough involves profound internal shifts in belief, thought patterns, and self-talk. Yet, this inner transformation achieves its most concrete and lasting expression when it is consistently embodied in your daily actions. These actions are the chisel that sculpts your new, empowered identity. The problem many individuals encounter, even after making significant progress in their thinking, is a subtle lag or disconnect between their evolving positive mindset and their habitual outward behaviors. They might aspire to be more confident, resilient, or growth-oriented, and their internal dialogue may be improving, but if their actions don't consistently align with these new aspirations, the desired identity can feel elusive or inauthentic. Old behavioral patterns, deeply grooved over time, can persist, creating a dissonance that undermines the permanence of the mindset breakthrough. Without this crucial step of translating inner change into consistent outward expression, the new self-concept remains vulnerable and not fully realized. The transformative solution is to embrace identity embodiment through positive action, a conscious and strategic approach where you intentionally choose and consistently engage in behaviors that serve as tangible proof and powerful reinforcement of the positive, growth-oriented identity you are cultivating. This means recognizing the profound feedback loop between how you act and who you perceive yourself to be. The core idea, echoing principles from behavioral psychology and identity formation experts, is that while your thoughts and beliefs influence your actions, in turn, send potent signals back to your brain, shaping and solidifying your self-concept. Each time you act in a way that aligns with your desired positive identity, you are casting a powerful vote for that new self, making it more real and more natural. The benefits are a deep integration of your mindset breakthrough into your lived experience, a significant increase in self-confidence as you see yourself consistently behaving as the person you want to be, and the creation of a virtuous cycle where positive actions and a positive identity continually strengthen each other, leading to sustainable success and well-being. It's like the sculptor not only revealing the magnificent form within the stone, but also becoming intrinsically linked to and defined by the very act of creation and the beauty of the result. The first crucial step in shaping your identity through action is to clearly envision and define the behavioral hallmarks of your desired breakthrough identity, based on the positive mindset you are cultivating: growth-oriented, resilient, optimistic, proactive. Who is the person you are becoming? Go beyond general traits and pinpoint specific, observable behaviors that this person would consistently exhibit. For instance, if your breakthrough identity includes being a courageous learner, characteristic actions might include asking questions even when feeling unsure, volunteering for tasks that stretch your skills, or actively seeking feedback. If your identity is a person who maintains a positive outlook, behaviors might include consciously reframing negative situations, expressing gratitude regularly, or focusing on solutions rather than dwelling on problems. Writing down these identity-linked behaviors provides a clear action plan. This process works because it translates abstract identity concepts into concrete, actionable steps, giving you a practical roadmap for how to be the person you aspire to become. Once you have this behavioral blueprint, the next essential action is to commit to small, consistent, identity-confirming actions daily. Don't try to overhaul all your behaviors at once, as this can be overwhelming. Instead, select one or two small but significant actions each day that directly reflect and reinforce your desired breakthrough identity. If your goal is to embody a proactive and organized individual, a small daily action might be to spend the first 15 minutes of your workday planning your top priorities, or the last 10 minutes of your day tidying your workspace. The key is consistency. These small daily actions, repeated over time, accumulate to create powerful evidence for your brain that you are, indeed, this kind of person. For example, every time you choose to engage in a challenging task with a growth-oriented mindset instead of avoiding it, you are taking an action that confirms your identity as a persistent learner. This method is effective because it makes behavior change manageable and builds momentum through frequent, small successes, gradually rewiring your self-perception based on tangible proof. A powerful technique to accelerate this process is to actively act as if you already embody your desired identity, especially in moments of choice or challenge. This isn't about being fake or inauthentic. It's about consciously choosing to respond from the perspective of your aspirational self. When faced with a decision, a challenge, or an opportunity, pause and ask yourself, how would your desired breakthrough identity, e.g., confident, resilient, positive version of me, handle this situation? What would they think? What would they do? Then, to the best of your ability, align your actions with that envisioned response. If you aspire to be a person who handles stress with calm and clarity, then when stress arises, consciously practice taking deep breaths, reframing your anxious thoughts and focusing on solutions, just as you imagine that calm and clear version of yourself would. This principle works because it provides your brain with experiential learning. By repeatedly rehearsing and living out the behaviors of your desired identity, you make those neural pathways stronger and more accessible, until eventually that way of acting becomes your natural default. The acting gradually transforms into genuine being. Crucially, acknowledge and internally validate every action that aligns with your new identity, reinforcing the positive feedback loop. When you successfully perform an action that is consistent with the positive, growth-oriented identity you are building, take a moment for conscious self-acknowledgement. This isn't about seeking external praise, but about internalizing the connection between your behavior and your evolving self-concept. Mentally affirm, I just specific positive action, and that is precisely what your desired identity does. This is evidence of who I am becoming. For example, if you chose to seek constructive feedback after a difficult project, action of a growth-oriented learner, acknowledge to yourself, seeking that feedback, even though it was a bit uncomfortable, shows I am committed to learning and growth. That's powerful. This deliberate internal validation works because it strengthens the neural association between the positive action and your desired identity, making that identity feel more real and motivating further congruent actions. It closes the loop, making your actions directly feed into your positive self-perception. Consider James, whose mindset breakthrough journey led him to define a new identity for himself as a proactive and solutions-oriented team player. In the past, he might have hesitated to offer ideas or assist colleagues if it wasn't directly his responsibility. Now, his identity-confirming actions included actively listening in team meetings and offering at least one constructive suggestion, even if small, proactively asking colleagues if they needed support on challenging projects, and when problems arose, focusing his energy on brainstorming solutions rather than complaining. Each time he took one of these actions, he would mentally note, this is what a proactive team player does. This is me stepping into that role. Over several months, these consistent actions not only improved his reputation and effectiveness at work, but more importantly, fundamentally shifted his own self-perception. He no longer tried to be a team player, he simply was one, because his actions had irrefutably shaped that identity from the inside out. The actions you take are the living proof of your mindset. By deliberately choosing behaviors that embody the positivity, resilience, and growth orientation of your breakthrough identity, you are not just performing tasks, you are actively sculpting the person you are becoming. This powerful synergy between inner mindset and outward action is what makes a breakthrough truly transformative and lasting. But life is full of unexpected turns and challenges. How does this newly forged, action-reinforced identity withstand the inevitable setbacks and disappointments that lie ahead? Now that your daily actions are consistently shaping and reinforcing your new, positive identity, how do you cultivate an unshakable inner strength that allows you to not only face setbacks, but to use them as fuel for even greater resilience and growth, truly solidifying your mindset breakthrough. The next chapter will delve into building profound resilience through adversity. Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 7. Resilience through Setbacks. Imagine a young oak tree standing in an open field. It faces harsh winds, driving rain, and the scorching sun. These elements are its setbacks, its adversities. While a more fragile sapling might break or wither, the oak, through its inherent structure and its process of adapting to these challenges, grows stronger roots, a thicker trunk, and more resilient branches. Each storm it weathers contributes to its eventual, towering strength. In your journey towards living a mindset breakthrough, you have diligently worked on your beliefs, rewired thought patterns, cultivated a growth mindset, embraced failure, built positive self-talk, and started forging a new identity through your actions. Yet life, much like nature, will inevitably present you with setbacks, unexpected obstacles, professional disappointments, personal losses, or moments when your best efforts don't yield the desired results. The problem is that even with a significantly improved mindset, these setbacks can test your resolve, tempt you back into old negative thinking patterns, and challenge your newly formed positive identity. If not navigated with skill and resilience, a significant disappointment can feel like a devastating blow, potentially undermining your confidence and stalling your progress towards lasting success and positivity. The transformative solution is to actively cultivate resilience amplification via mindset, a dynamic capacity to not only withstand and bounce back from setbacks, but to actually leverage them as opportunities for profound learning, growth, and the strengthening of your positive, growth-oriented mindset. This means consciously applying the principles of your mindset breakthrough directly to the experience of adversity, viewing challenges not as indicators of defeat, but as crucial crucibles for forging deeper inner strength. The core idea is that resilience isn't merely about enduring hardship, it's about adaptive recovery and growth. By intentionally using your empowered beliefs, your reframing skills, your constructive self-talk, and your growth orientation when faced with difficulties, you transform setbacks from potential derailers into powerful catalysts that reinforce your positive identity and accelerate your journey towards lasting success. The benefits are an enhanced ability to navigate life's inevitable storms with grace and composure, a quicker recovery time from disappointments, a greater capacity to find meaning and opportunity even in difficult situations, and an ever-deepening well of inner strength and unwavering optimism. You become like the oak tree, not just surviving the storms, but becoming demonstrably stronger and more magnificent because of them. The first essential principle in building resilience through setbacks is to immediately acknowledge and validate your emotional response. Then consciously engage your breakthrough mindset. When a setback occurs, it's natural to feel a range of emotions: disappointment, frustration, sadness, or even anger. Don't try to suppress these feelings or pretend they don't exist. Allow yourself to acknowledge them non-judgmentally. Okay, I'm feeling really disappointed about this outcome. However, the key is not to get stuck in these emotions. After giving yourself a brief period to process, consciously activate your breakthrough mindset. Remind yourself of your core empowering beliefs, e.g., I am capable of overcoming challenges. Engage your growth mindset by asking, what is the opportunity for learning and growth here? Utilize your positive self-talk to counter any emerging negativity. For example, if a business proposal is rejected, after acknowledging your disappointment, you might consciously shift to, this is a chance to understand what didn't resonate and refine my approach. My ability to learn from this will make my next proposal even stronger. This works because it allows for healthy emotional processing while quickly reorienting your mind towards a constructive, growth-focused perspective, preventing you from spiraling into prolonged negativity. A crucial practice is to reframe the setback. Focus on temporariness, specificity, and controllables. Dr. Martin Seligman's research on optimism highlights that resilient individuals tend to view setbacks as temporary, not permanent, specific to a particular situation, not pervasive across all areas of life, and often due to external or changeable factors rather than solely internal, unchangeable flaws. When you face a setback, actively challenge any tendencies to see it as a lasting catastrophe or a reflection of your fundamental inadequacy. Ask, is this setback truly going to last forever, or is it a temporary situation? Does this one event mean everything in my life is a failure, or is it specific to this particular context? What aspects of this situation are within my control, however small? For instance, if you don't get a promotion you were hoping for, instead of thinking, I'll never advance in my career, permanent, pervasive, reframe it as, this specific promotion didn't work out at this time. Temporary, specific. I can focus on getting feedback, developing specific skills, and preparing for future opportunities, controllables. This reframing technique works because it contains the negative impact of the setback, preventing it from overwhelming your entire outlook and empowering you to focus on constructive next steps. Developing and practicing proactive problem-solving and solution-focused thinking is key to bouncing forward. Once you've reframed the setback, shift your mental energy towards finding solutions or constructive responses. Instead of dwelling on what went wrong or who is to blame, ask, given this situation, what are my options now? What is the most constructive step I can take? What resources can I draw upon? This might involve brainstorming alternative strategies, seeking advice, acquiring new information, or simply adjusting your plan. For example, if a health issue temporarily prevents you from your usual exercise routine, instead of giving up on fitness altogether, a solution-focused approach would be to research alternative forms of exercise that you can do, or to focus on other aspects of your well-being like nutrition or stress management. This active problem-solving orientation works because it restores a sense of agency and control, channeling the energy that might otherwise be consumed by worry or rumination into productive action. It embodies the growth mindset principle of seeing challenges as opportunities to learn and adapt. Throughout this process, maintain unwavering self-compassion and leverage your support network. As discussed in Building Positive Self-Talk, treating yourself with kindness and understanding during difficult times is paramount for resilience. Avoid harsh self-criticism. Remind yourself that everyone faces setbacks and that your worth is not diminished by them. Simultaneously, don't try to weather the storm entirely alone. Reach out to trusted friends, family, mentors, or colleagues. Talking about your challenges with supportive individuals can provide emotional comfort, fresh perspectives, practical advice, and a reminder that you are not isolated in your struggles. For example, after a significant professional disappointment, confiding in a mentor might provide not only encouragement, but also valuable insights into how to navigate the situation or prepare for similar future challenges. This combination of self-compassion and external support works because it addresses both your internal emotional needs and your practical need for resources and perspective, creating a robust buffer against the potentially debilitating effects of adversity. Finally, make it a practice to actively extract and integrate the lessons learned to bounce forward stronger. Every setback, no matter how painful, contains valuable lessons if you are willing to look for them. Once the dust has settled, reflect deeply. What were the key contributing factors to this setback? What did I learn about myself, my strategies, or the external environment? How can I use these insights to be better prepared, more skillful, or wiser in the future? Crucially, don't just identify the lessons. Actively integrate them into your plans and behaviors moving forward. This conscious integration is what ensures you bounce forward, rather than just returning to your previous state. For instance, if a team project failed due to poor communication, the lesson might be to implement clearer communication protocols for all future projects. This commitment to learning and applying lessons works because it transforms the setback from a purely negative experience into a catalyst for genuine growth and improved future performance, reinforcing your identity as a resilient, learning individual. Consider Isabella, a dedicated researcher whose major grant proposal was rejected. This was a significant setback that could have derailed her research. She first allowed herself to feel the deep disappointment. Then she engaged her growth mindset reframing it as, "This rejection is not a judgment of my worth as a scientist, but feedback on this specific proposal. What can I learn to make it stronger?" She focused on controllables by requesting detailed reviewer comments. She practiced self-compassion, acknowledging her hard work and the competitive nature of grants. She discussed the feedback with trusted colleagues, her support network, and identified key areas for improvement in her research design and proposal writing. She then meticulously revised her proposal, incorporating all the lessons learned. When she resubmitted it months later, it was significantly stronger and was ultimately funded. The initial setback, through her resilient mindset, became a crucial catalyst for producing even higher quality work. Resilience through setbacks is the hallmark of a truly integrated mindset breakthrough. It is the capacity to meet life's inevitable challenges, not with fear or defeat, but with courage, wisdom, and an unwavering belief in your ability to learn, adapt, and emerge stronger. This profound resilience ensures that your journey of positivity and lasting success is not a fragile one, but a robust and ever-evolving path. But how do you ensure that this entire way of thinking and being becomes your lifelong default? Now that you have cultivated the remarkable ability to transform setbacks into stepping stones for even greater strength and wisdom, how do you weave all these interconnected principles of your mindset breakthrough into the very fabric of your daily existence, ensuring it becomes not just a phase of growth, but your enduring way of living and achieving? The final chapter will explore how to truly live the breakthrough mindset. Remember to subscribe to Brainpower Blueprint, give this video a like, and comment with your personal opinions or suggestions for channel development. Chapter 8. Living the Breakthrough Mindset. Imagine an artisan who has not only mastered individual techniques, but has integrated them so profoundly that their craft flows with an effortless grace, producing works of consistent beauty and power. Their mastery is not just in their hands, but in their very being. Similarly, your journey to achieve a mindset breakthrough has equipped you with a suite of transformative tools. You've learned to harness the power of your beliefs, rewire your thought patterns for positivity, shift from a fixed to a growth mindset, embrace failure as a teacher, build supportive self-talk, shape your identity through positive actions, and cultivate profound resilience in the face of setbacks. The ultimate expression of this journey is not merely to possess these tools, but to live them so fully that they become an intrinsic part of who you are, defining your approach to every aspect of your life. The challenge that often arises after a period of intense personal growth is ensuring that these profound changes are not just temporary improvements, but are deeply embedded, becoming a sustainable and authentic way of navigating the world. Without a conscious commitment to living these principles holistically and continuously, there's a subtle risk of reverting to old patterns under prolonged stress or simply losing the sharp edge of your newfound clarity and empowerment, thereby not fully capitalizing on the promise of lasting success and deep fulfillment that your breakthrough offers. The ultimate solution is to embrace sustainable mindset integration, a lifelong commitment to embodying the principles of your positive, growth-oriented breakthrough as your natural and consistent way of being, ensuring that this transformed perspective continuously informs your actions, choices, and experiences across all domains of your life. This means moving beyond the phase of actively learning the mindset to effortlessly living from it. The core idea is that a true mindset breakthrough transforms not just what you think or do, but who you fundamentally are. By weaving these principles into the tapestry of your daily existence, your work, your relationships, your personal pursuits, your responses to the world, you create a self-sustaining ecosystem of positivity, growth, and resilience. The benefits are a life characterized by enduring optimism, an unshakable belief in your potential, the consistent ability to turn challenges into opportunities, authentic and meaningful achievements, and a profound sense of purpose, joy, and lasting success. It's like the artisan whose every touch reflects their deep mastery, creating a legacy not just of beautiful objects, but of a life lived with skill, passion, and profound understanding. A cornerstone of living the breakthrough mindset is an unwavering commitment to ongoing self-awareness and mindset maintenance. Just as a beautiful garden requires consistent tending to prevent weeds from returning and to ensure continued blossoming, your transformed mindset needs ongoing attention. Continue to practice mindful observation of your thoughts, beliefs, and emotional responses. Periodically check in with yourself. Are the principles of growth mindset still guiding your approach to challenges? Is your self-talk remaining predominantly positive and supportive? Are you still embracing learning opportunities from setbacks? This doesn't mean obsessive scrutiny, but rather a gentle, consistent awareness. If you notice old, unhelpful patterns attempting to resurface, you now have the tools to address them swiftly and effectively. This commitment to ongoing maintenance works because it acknowledges that personal growth is a dynamic process, not a static achievement. It keeps your mindset tools sharp and ensures your breakthrough remains vibrant and effective throughout your life. Actively extend the application of your breakthrough mindset to all facets of your existence. The power of your transformed mindset is magnified when it is applied holistically. In your career, let your growth mindset fuel your ambition to learn new skills, take on stretching assignments, and lead with positivity and resilience. In your personal relationships, use your positive communication patterns, your ability to reframe situations constructively, and your empathy, often a byproduct of compassionate self-talk, to build deeper, more meaningful connections. When facing health challenges or pursuing well-being goals, let your belief in your ability to change and your resilience guide your efforts. Even in your leisure activities or community involvement, approach them with the same curiosity, openness to learning, and positive engagement that defines your breakthrough mindset. For instance, someone living this mindset might approach learning a new hobby not with a fear of being a beginner, but with the excitement of a growth opportunity. This holistic application is powerful because it creates coherence and integrity across your entire life, reinforcing your positive identity and ensuring that your mindset breakthrough benefits every area of your experience. A profound way to solidify and amplify your own breakthrough is to inspire and support others on their own mindset journeys. When you share the insights and principles that have transformed your own thinking, you not only help others, but also deepen your own understanding and commitment. This could be through formal mentoring, informally encouraging friends or family, or simply by embodying these principles so consistently that you naturally inspire those around you. Explaining the difference between a fixed and growth mindset to a struggling colleague, or helping a friend reframe a negative situation, reinforces these concepts within your own mind. Furthermore, contributing to the growth and positivity of others creates a more supportive environment that in turn nurtures your own continued development. This works because teaching and sharing are powerful ways to internalize knowledge, and contributing to others' well-being often brings a profound sense of purpose, which is a key element of a thriving, positive life. Consciously curate an environment and lifestyle that continuously nurtures your breakthrough mindset. Your surroundings, including the people you associate with, the media you consume, and the daily rhythms you establish, play a significant role in either supporting or undermining your mindset. Make deliberate choices to create an ecosystem that reinforces positivity, growth, and resilience. Spend time with people who uplift you, who share a growth mindset, and who encourage your aspirations. Be mindful of your information diet. Limit exposure to excessive negativity and seek out content that is inspiring, educational, and aligns with your positive outlook. Design your daily and weekly routines to include activities that actively nourish your mind and spirit, perhaps regular time for reflection, learning, creative expression, physical activity, or connection with nature and loved ones. This intentional cultivation of a supportive environment works because it minimizes the external triggers for old negative patterns and maximizes the cues and supports for your desired positive state of being. Finally, embrace your evolving journey with gratitude and joyful persistence. Living the breakthrough mindset is not about reaching a flawless, static state of perfection. It's about embracing a lifelong journey of continuous growth, learning, and becoming. Cultivate a deep sense of gratitude for the progress you've made, for the challenges that have strengthened you, and for the ongoing opportunity to learn and evolve. Find joy in the process itself. The excitement of tackling new challenges with your empowered mindset, the satisfaction of seeing your positive actions create positive results, the fulfillment that comes from living a life aligned with your deepest values and potential. And when you inevitably encounter difficulties or moments of self-doubt, because you are human, approach them not with dismay, but with a compassionate persistence, drawing upon the resilience and wisdom your breakthrough mindset has given you. This joyful and grateful persistence makes the journey sustainable, deeply rewarding, and a continuous source of inspiration. Consider Michael, who years after his initial mindset breakthrough, finds these principles woven into the very fabric of his life. He starts each day with a brief gratitude practice and sets a positive intention. In his work as a project manager, he consistently encourages his team to view challenges as learning opportunities and celebrates effort as much as results. When faced with personal setbacks, like a health issue, he approaches it with a problem-solving, growth-oriented attitude, researching solutions and focusing on what he can control. He mentors younger professionals, sharing the mindset principles that have helped him. He regularly tends to his mental garden, noticing and gently correcting any stray negative thoughts and consciously choosing to focus on the positive and the possible. His life isn't free of challenges, but he navigates them with a calm confidence, an unwavering optimism, and a continuous desire to learn and contribute, truly living his breakthrough. Living the breakthrough mindset is the ultimate expression of personal empowerment. It is the culmination of your dedicated efforts to transform your inner world, resulting in an outer life characterized by authentic success, profound resilience, and enduring positivity. This is not a destination you arrive at, but a way of traveling, a conscious, joyful, and ever-evolving dance with life, guided by the wisdom and strength of a mind that has truly broken through its limitations to embrace its fullest potential. Your daily thoughts and actions, now aligned with this powerful mindset, become the brushstrokes with which you continuously paint a masterpiece of a life well lived. This comprehensive exploration of mindset breakthrough has journeyed from the foundational power of belief through the intricate rewiring of thought patterns and the pivotal shift from a fixed to a growth mindset. You've learned to courageously embrace failure as a teacher, to cultivate a supportive inner dialogue through positive self-talk, to forge a new and empowered identity through consistent action, and to build unshakable resilience in the face of setbacks. The culmination of these efforts is not just a set of new skills, but a transformed way of being, a life lived with enduring positivity, continuous growth, and the capacity for lasting success. The principles within these chapters are your lifelong companions for navigating challenges and seizing opportunities with a mind that has truly achieved its breakthrough. Thank you for dedicating your time and focus to Mindset Breakthrough. Embrace positivity for lasting success. It is our sincere hope that this journey has provided you with both profound insights and eminently practical tools to unlock the immense power within your own mind, paving the way for a life filled with greater joy, resilience, and achievement. Remember, a mindset breakthrough is not a one-time event, but the beginning of an exciting, ongoing adventure of personal evolution. We are deeply grateful for your presence with us. If this audiobook has inspired a shift in your perspective or equipped you with valuable strategies, please consider showing your appreciation by liking this video, sharing your thoughts or personal breakthrough moments in the comments section below, and subscribing to Brainpower Blueprint for more content designed to foster your continued growth and success. Your engagement is invaluable to us.